We're kicking off today with Seth Rollins, as it was back in January that the World Heavyweight Champion suffered a torn MCL and partially torn meniscus against Jinder Mahal. While Rollins hasn't had to vacate the title as many had expected, he hasn't wrestled since that unfortunate incident, though that is about to change. PW Insider reports that Rollins has been medically cleared to wrestle and that he'll be back in the ring as soon as this Saturday's WWE Live event in Alexandria, Louisiana. Before then, though, Rollins will be on tonight's SmackDown alongside Cody Rhodes when the pair confront The Rock and Roman Reigns. It'll be the first face-to-face between the four men since WrestleMania's kickoff event, and we'll have to see what Rollins does tonight, especially now he's been cleared to wrestle. Last December, Kenny Omega revealed that he had been hospitalized and diagnosed with diverticulitis, a disease that has kept the former AEW World Champion out ever since. The issue has led to Omega being pulled from the World's End event, where he and Chris Jericho were set to challenge for the tag titles, and there's now been a worrying update. During a Twitch stream, Omega recalled a 2-week period when he was feeling great before he hit a roadblock, which required him to seek some emergency treatment. Omega added that this is the first time that a sickness has put him on the shelf, and said that unlike an injury, it's hard to know what exactly is going on internally. Despite this, Omega remained confident he'll return to the ring, but isn't sure if he'll need surgery, and if he does, this will extend how long he's out of action for. When Omega sees others in the ring, whether it's in AEW, WWE, or elsewhere, it makes him want to wrestle, leading to a weird balance of trying to manage his sickness whilst also training. Omega is desperate to get back in the ring, but should only do so when he is 110% ready to return, and we're continuing to wish him a full and speedy recovery. This week's Dynamite served as the season premiere of the show, complete with a new stage design, and it seems that AEW Collision will also undergo a transformation. After Dynamite, AEW filmed this week's Collision, which featured a new look, though the set is similar to what fans saw this past Wednesday. While Dynamite has dramatically changed its color scheme, Collision is sticking with the red and yellow design fans are used to, so the changes to this show aren't as big as Dynamite. Though Collision was filmed after Dynamite, it seems that fans chose to beat the traffic instead, as once again, images have come out showing the taping's dismal turnout. Despite the show seeing Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson come face to face again, and the in-ring debut of Kazuchika Okada, these photos show countless empty seats at the show. According to WrestleTix, only 2,166 out of 2,441 tickets were sold, but when you remember that the Gas South Arena can sit 13,000 fans, it's no wonder the show looks very empty. Large sections of the seating had been covered in black tarps so they won't be seen on TV, as once again, Tony Khan definitely doesn't want you to learn about the show's small crowd. Despite the poor attendance, the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia saw some huge names appear, as well as some notable names making appearances backstage. PW Insider reports that former WCW stars Ernest the Cat Miller and Ray Lloyd, better known as Glacier, were backstage at this week's taping from Georgia. Speaking of notable names backstage, QT Marshall was spotted backstage at the AEW Dynamite Collision taping, as well as last Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view. The stands may not have been packed, but things certainly seemed busy behind the scenes, and we're sure Miller and Lloyd had a great time at the wrestling show when they came to WCW's home state. In the hours before AEW Revolution, Kevin Kelly fired off a series of tweets claiming he'd been libeled by Ian, believed to be fellow wrestling broadcaster Ian Riccaboni. Kelly also stated that he was pushed aside when he asked why he was not being utilized more, describing himself as sitting on the bench in some strong claims against AEW. Now it seems that AEW really doesn't want anything to do with him, as his profile has been removed from the AEW roster page, but it has not been confirmed that he has been fired. Kelly was the lead announcer on AEW Collision, but Tony Schiavone was later placed into that lead role, and Schiavone, Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness had been a trio since that point. Kelly wasn't at AEW Revolution 2024 and had previously left New Japan to work with AEW, but is clearly frustrated that he isn't being used in the way he thinks he should. Kevin Kelly was also absent from this week's Collision tapings, with just Schiavone and McGuinness donning the headset, in another sign his time with AEW may have come to an end. We've got some concerning news regarding the legendary luchador Damian 666, who recently underwent a hemodynamic operation following a heart attack. On Twitter, the Masked Republic account shared their support for Damian, whose son Bestia666 is also a wrestler, stating that they are hoping for a successful surgery and speedy recovery. In a post of his own, Bestia said that his father was in stable condition at the time of the post and that they had a lot of faith that everything would be well. Damian666 has worked for decades in various promotions and has obtained countless fans over his career, and we're wishing him and his family the best at this worrying time. When it comes to managers, few are more well-renowned or successful than Paul Heyman, with Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns among his clientele. As we know by now, Heyman will become a WWE Hall of Famer later this year in a much-deserved honor, and Heyman knows that there's plenty of people who'd love to be in his position. Sitting down with Fox News Digital, Heyman made it clear that many people are gunning for his position in WWE, as he said, "These are stats no one else can claim, nobody. Nobody even comes remotely close. Every single one of them. There are people sitting there going, I want that job, I want that position, I'm willing to compete with Paul Heyman for that position, and I'm cognizant of it. I'm very much aware of it. I remind myself of that every single day. There are very competent and talented people who want that spot. So I treat every single performance like it's an audition to be invited back tomorrow. And if people approach their performances like that, it'll only inspire them and motivate them to rise above even their own limitations." It's not hard to see why people are trying to go after Paul Heyman's spot in WWE, especially given his role with the Bloodline, which has guaranteed him a top role on TV. But what do you think of this story? Is there a single person out there who could replace him? Give your thoughts in the comments section below. With Heyman's induction coming, there's been speculation as to who should be the one to induct him, but one ECW name has made it clear they don't want to be the one to do the job. On Busted Open Radio, Tommy Dreamer said that despite his ties to Heyman, he isn't the right pick to induct Heyman, and said that it'd make sense for WWE to pick a bigger star. Dreamer suggested Steve Austin, CM Punk, or even Roman Reigns as possible choices. And who do you think should be inducting Paul Heyman this April in Philadelphia? Now, as of today, WrestleMania 40 is less than a month away, and there's been a lot said about the potential card for the show. Randy Orton is expected to be on the show, and during the Elimination Chamber Perth event, it was teased that he'll be feuding with US Champion Logan Paul going forward. Orton eliminated Paul in the match, but the Maverick got revenge by helping Drew McIntyre beat Orton, but despite this, WWE could be prepared to go in a much different direction. According to sources within WWE, there has been talks of postponing the Orton vs. Paul match for later this year to allow for Orton to face a more familiar opponent this April, John Cena. Cena has made it clear he hopes to do something at the show, and during an appearance on Jimmy Fallon said that he is free and available during WrestleMania weekend. The talk backstage is that Orton and Cena don't have many more WrestleMania matches left, with many believing the match should happen while WWE still has the chance. Despite having lengthy feuds over the years, Cena and Orton have never competed one-on-one at WrestleMania, but were part of a triple threat match in 2008 that also included Triple H. Earlier this year, Orton expressed his desire to face Cena one more time, but this will all hinge on whether Cena's filming schedule will allow him enough time to train for the match. Peacemaker's second season is set to begin shooting very soon, which could keep Cena off of WrestleMania entirely, but what do you make of these plans? Let us know in the comments. As one of wrestling's big stars who is on the cusp of being all elite, Mercedes Mone is an internationally recognized name and understandably has a huge following on social media. While social media has allowed fans the chance to communicate with the wrestler/Mandalorian star, there is of course the negative aspect of online platforms that allow for harassment and bullying. Speaking on the Kick Rocks Wrestling podcast, Mone discussed her relationship with social media and how fans can take things way too far online. She said, "Social media is so mean, people don't understand that us celebrities, we legit get bullied and harassed online every single day, and people are like, well, it's part of the business, you guys can take it. It's taken years to toughen my skin because I would read things and be like, somebody called me this and think I'm this, and break down for people's comments like, people do that, people get so hurt, people's comments that they take people's lives. I told myself, you can't let comments, who knows if these are spam bots or you see these people in real life and go, you let these people hurt you, you let words hurt you. We gotta be stronger, more powerful as a community and as people to not let words affect us so hard that we're breaking down, having mental health issues, that we wanna think the worst. It's like these are just words, bots we have no idea are behind the internet. The internet's gonna keep on getting crazy. We're in the Terminator era. You just gotta be strong, know who you are. I know who I am. It's just knowing I don't want no words to interrupt my life, and I can't let words hurt my life because I won't. Despite what some online have had to say, Mone has become a massive success in wrestling with title reigns in WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling to her name. As we said, Mone is set to debut in AEW during next week's Big Business show, and fans can expect to see plenty more big moments from her, despite what some fans online have to say. At AEW Revolution, Sting competed in his final match and won the Tornado Tag match in the main event, ending his career alongside Darby Allin with a win over the Young Bucks. The match was a runaway success, and in a report from Dave Meltzer, the Icon also helped to move a ton of merchandise with the prospect of his last match. The average price spent on merchandise per attendee was $21.84 each, the most for any AEW event except All In, and it was said that the vast majority of merch was based on Sting. And approximately $349,000 was grossed in just merchandise alone, proving that the fans were willing to shell out for merch to commemorate the end of a legendary wrestling career. This week, WWE Games shared a photo of the cover stars for WWE 2K24, those being Cody Rhodes, the Standard Edition cover star, and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley from the Deluxe Edition. The three are immensely popular with fans, but unfortunately, some comments were racist in nature against Belair in a cruel act by so-called fans. One said that while Cody and Rhea deserved to be a cover star of 2K24, Bianca did not, and another fan went even further, saying Belair didn't belong but said, quote, "You gotta have a black." These comments produced outrage from the other fans who saw the post, and on social media, wrestlers of all colors rallied behind Belair in a touching sign of support. Zelina Vega praised Belair as one of the best the business had seen, who has earned everything she's gotten, adding that the fans who said what they did should be disgusted with themselves. NXT's Ava said she was disappointed but not surprised to see the racist comment and shared her love for Belair, whilst Big E addressed the racism and misogyny female black wrestlers face from fans. Rhea Ripley added that the EST isn't just a nickname for Belair, who in addition to being a history maker is one of the nicest humans, and said that the hateful trolls are mad that she's better than them. These are just some of the many comments that were shared, showing that despite the racism aimed at Belair, there's countless more people supporting the EST who earned her spot on the cover. Speaking of 2K24, the game features one of the series' largest ever rosters, and fans are in for a treat with the newly introduced Faction Wars mode. In the mode, players can assemble teams of 4 superstars to face AI-controlled opponents, progressing through matches and stages until facing the ultimate boss showdown. With the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, the LWO, and more, there's no shortage of factions to face. And which 4 superstars will you make into a group in WWE 2K24? Back to AEW as Kazuchika Okada debuted on this week's Dynamite and aligned himself with the Young Bucks, moments after the brothers fired Kenny Omega from the Elite. Okada's arrival had been anticipated for some time, and the Rainmaker will be making serious money now that he's officially All Elite. Tokyo Sports notes that Okada inked a 3-year deal with AEW, estimated to be valued at 2 billion yen over the duration, which translates to approximately $4 million a year. WWE had plans for Okada to start in NXT, so he's almost certainly making more in AEW than he would have in WWE, where only top stars like Randy Orton and Roman Reigns earn around $4 million. Okada debuted by attacking Continental Champion Eddie Kingston, and with a title feud possible, it'll be interesting to see what Okada does next, now that he's on this big money contract. In 2019, Jim Ross signed with AEW, giving the upstart promotion an immediate sense of legitimacy, and recently the legendary commentator signed a new deal. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer shared some insight into the new contract, revealing that JR is being paid well and is making more in AEW than he ever did in WWE. That's quite the feat, given that JR commentates far less for AEW than he did in WWE, and unlike WWE, AEW hasn't called on JR to get physical in the ring, or at least not yet. JR served on commentary for the last 2 matches of AEW Revolution, including Sting's farewell match, and Ross is more than happy with his role in AEW and that substantial paycheck. We've got some joyful news regarding Dominik Mysterio, as the Judgment Day member and former NXT North American champion is officially a married man. Dominik married his longtime sweetheart Marie Juliette, and in a video shared online, the happy couple can be seen at the reception surrounded by their friends and family. Eagle-eyed fans also spotted that Damian Priest served as one of the groomsmen for his Judgment Day ally, but there's no word on if Finn, Rhea, JD, or even R-Truth attended. During his speech, Mysterio spoke about all those who have supported him, but it was hard to hear him over the sounds of booing, showing that even his loved ones won't forgive Dirty Dom. It's great to see that the self-professed hardened criminal has rebuilt his life after his time in the joint, and we're sending our best wishes to Mr. and Mrs. Dirty Dom on this joyous occasion. WrestleMania news now, as with just over a year away from the 41st annual Showcase of the Immortals, WWE still hasn't announced where it will happen in a break from tradition. Typically, WWE announces the location of a WrestleMania close to 2 years before the event actually happens, and this delay has led to speculation as to where Mania 41 will be. We may now have an answer, as thanks to a House bill issued within the past few weeks, it looks like WrestleMania 41 will take place from the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This House bill in question, numbered 3934, hinted at a significant sporting event coming to the state, but while it was noted that they are almost ready to announce it, they can't just yet. The mystery event will provide an economic impact to Minneapolis, second only to the Super Bowl according to the bill, a claim that would certainly fit WrestleMania. It was first reported back in July 2023 that Minneapolis wasn't just in the running for the show, but was seen as a prime contender, and WWE could give confirmation within a matter of days. Las Vegas and London, England had previously been suggested as host cities, but the 2025 show will seemingly be heading to Minneapolis. And is this the right place, or should the show take place somewhere else? As we mentioned earlier, Roman Reigns and The Rock will be on tonight's SmackDown, as will Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and it's expected that the four will do more than just talk. After the slap at the kickoff event and the challenge made by The Rock last week, things will be heated tonight, but Nick Aldis is ready to lay down the law. In a video, the SmackDown general manager made clear that if anyone gets out of line tonight, he won't hesitate to throw them out, and requested that they please be professional. In a dig at Adam Pearce, Aldis encouraged the Raw GM to keep your roster in line, and we'll have to see if Aldis's words are adhered to tonight on SmackDown. And we're ending with Daniel Rodimer, the Tough Enough alum and ex-GOP candidate who was recently sought for the murder of a falsely convicted individual. This week, Rodimer turned himself into the police following the issuing of an arrest warrant, and PW Insider now reports that he was released on a $200,000 bond. He is set to return to court on April 10th at 7:30 a.m. Las Vegas time, and he has been accused of assault 3 times in the past but was not convicted. In 2010, Rodimer admitted to charges of battery, but the charge was dropped after he took an anger management course, and will continue to follow this case for further updates.